the extension of a nuclear umbrella.
So I was sitting here watching having some tea, watching a podcast, and the guy made a good point, right? The U.S. and Israel walked into a trap, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a good trap too. They walked into a trap. And this came up in a remote viewing that I did some time ago on silver, which is up 7% today. And I'm thinking at this point, silver is going to go much, much higher now. It's going to start to go much, much, much higher, head back toward $100 an ounce very soon. Because the high prices of oil is going to crush the U.S. dollar. And then that in turn is going to cause the yield on U.S. Treasury bonds to be less attractive, right? Because you're going to get money pouring into gold, silver, probably Bitcoin, stuff like that, because of inflation. Because the inflation of the oil price is going to seep into other goods, food, services, etc. And then that's going to cause, like a hyperinflationary event in the dollar. Not necessarily hyperinflation, but a lot of inflation in the dollar. Not to mention they got to print money to, for weapons, etc. So, yeah, and as you collapse the economy, you got print money to base the currency because people are going to lose their jobs, etc. And they don't want people to revolt, different things. So everybody, they print money, trying to prop the system up. And people are looking for safe havens. So they're going to, at that point, they're going to flood into gold, silver, Bitcoin, anything that they think is safe. They're going to start to skyrocket now. So, yeah, they walked into a trap. And it could go, this could go Mad Max. When you yank, it's one thing if you phase out 20% of the world's oil supply. It's another thing if you yank out 20% of the world's global oil supply at one time. Everybody can't, you can't transition at the drop of a hat, right? So because of that, people are going to be scrambling. And the system is going, in some spots that wasn't ready for that, it's going to go critical because we live in a just-in-time delivery system. And so because of that, places like, even the U.S. is going to be last, but they're going to feel it too because you connected to the globe. So if they don't have jet fuel in Thailand or Philippines, you can't fly there. So that means flights to Thailand and the Philippines will be shut down, right? Because sure, you have jet fuel in the U.S. and you can get there, but the jet has to refuel and come back. What are they going to take their own jet fuel with them? So if they're where they're going, if they can't fuel up, then you won't have flights out. That means airports shut down, etc. So if this keeps going for 6 months, you're looking at a Mad Max situation in Asia at least, where even if you could get there, you're not going to want to go, right? Even if you could get to Thailand, you're not going to want to go. Even if you could get to, Dubai or something, you're not going to want to go. And so this is going to be like a COVID lockdown 2.0. You're going to be locked down not because of disease, but because of a lack of ability to transit to these places. And so therefore you're going to see, like I said, you're going to see strain on travel, vacations, any of the economy related to travel and vacations. Business, that's going to affect business travel. Of course, anything related to the oil and gas markets, it's going to be problematic. You may or may not have a job. So, and the price will be high, but the question is, can you get it, right? So this is going to be an interesting scenario if it runs, if it runs, like 6 months, right? Which it very may well do that because the Iranians have a vested interest in making this hurt you, right? The Iranians are trying to make this hurt the average American. That's their audience for this, is the average American, right? Not Donald Trump, not Benjamin Netanyahu, and he's in the EU, but the average European on the street. They had to take this down the street level, right? And so once you feel it, then they win. That's how that works. Once you feel it, then they win. If you don't feel it, then they're not winning. They're not getting anything out of this. And they're going to wait and they're going to inflict as much pain as they can until the person on the street feels it. Which I don't blame them. I would do the same thing, right? Like, you got to make people feel you. You know what I mean? And since they figure like, fuck it, this is an existential threat, we have to make the man on the street feel us. In Thailand, in the Philippines, wherever. And I don't blame them, right? Because people could have stopped this, right? But they didn't. People could have jumped in, whether it be the Chinese, the Russians, anybody could have jumped in. The Americans, the Israelis, they could have prevented all this. They didn't, right? Different countries, the GCC, they could have prevented this, but they didn't. They just felt like we're in a position to do whatever the fuck we want. And then they ran into somebody that showed them that they couldn't. They said, well, listen, you can, but the consequences are going to be dire for not just us, but for everybody. We're going to spread the pain out around the world. So it's going to be dire for everybody. How you like that? How you like those apples? And they were able to do it using the Strait of Hormuz and the destruction of the GCC. Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to destroy the GCC. They're going to wipe them out because more than likely this weekend, they're going to go after the Iranians hard, right? And the Iranians, of course, you see how they get down. They're just going to strike back just as hard. That means no more GCC, right? And if it's no more GCC, then there's no more U.S. stock market. There's no more U.S. dollar because the GCC is propping up the U.S. dollar. When the GCC goes, the U.S. dollar goes, the petrodollar goes, the U.S. dollar goes. This shit ain't rocket science. They're pumping all of the money into the, large swaths of the AI and different things like that. Those Arab countries are pumping that money in. Everybody's trading oil for dollars. Well, if the GCC is out of business and they're not trading oil for dollars, then there is no petrodollar. It's gone. It's dead in the water. Right? It's not coming. It's here. It's happened. It's over with. It's a done deal. There's no way they back out of this. So that means GCC is dead, petrodollar, the dollar is dead, right? U.S. Treasury is going to get crushed and smashed. Gold, silver, Bitcoin probably up, right? And you probably going into a Mad Max scenario. Well, not quite Mad Max, but it's going to be ugly. So, yeah, I would prepare for that. You know what I mean? Like, if you out right now and you just on some other shit, some La La Land shit, you might want to rethink some of that. Because you only got a short time to prepare, right? I know I'm in bad shape. I'm behind the 8 ball. But I know I only got a short time to prepare. You may have a month, maybe 2. After that, it's over with. So, but anyway, I got to run. All I can say is stay on the swivel and good luck out there.